It doesn't feel like it, but spring is just around the corner now, and in today's video I want to show you some pieces that I think are absolutely essential and everyone needs for this season. Spring is a weird one in the UK because although it can be gloriously sunny like it is today, it's still really cold, so warmer pieces and layering up are very much needed. So I'm going to go through a few pieces in detail, show you what they look like on body, and I'll also leave links to them down in the description in case you want to try them out for yourself. Oh, and for reference, I'm 5'10", around 140 pounds, and I typically wear 28 to 29 inch waist. First up, as the weather starts to get drier and slightly warmer, I bring out my lighter weight boots. During winter, I pretty much wore my Denim mountain lights constantly, but now it's time for my Solivairs to come back out. I bought these last year just as the weather was turning horrible, so I haven't worn them as much as I'd like, but now all the way through to fall, I'm going to be wearing these a lot. I say they're lighter weight, but this isn't a reflection of their quality. In fact, the quality is superb. I got rid of my Doc Martens for these, and I can confidently say that these live up to the hype. Plus they're cheaper and they're made in England, which is pretty wild. This model is called the Astronaut and has a really slim toe box and 11 eyelets, which gives it a real military inspired look. I got them in the high shine leather, so I'll be keeping an eye on that to see if it's durable or not with constant wear. My only recommendation if you are looking to pick these up is to go half a size down because they can run a little bit big, which is the same for most boots to be honest. For whatever reason, during fall and winter, I just find myself wearing darker coloured clothing all the time, and I think a lot of other people do this as well. But when the days start to get a bit brighter, I bring out my lighter coloured trousers. In particular, these two pairs of jeans from Levi's. The beige ones are a vintage pair of 501s, and the light blue are a pair of vintage 505s. I've talked about both of these in other videos, but for those who haven't seen them yet, they both have the same straight leg fit, but 505s have a higher rise, so they sit more around the waist instead of the hips. They also have a zip fly instead of buttons, if that's important to you. These are both made in USA pairs I bought off eBay for about 20 quid each. And when it comes to Levi's, I pretty much exclusively buy vintage these days. I prefer the broken in denim, the faded leather patches, and the little scuffs and rips which give them character. My only advice is to size up with vintage Levi's, especially if they're from the 90s or before. These are pretty much the only trousers I'm going to be wearing from now until fall, unless something new comes along which really catches my eye. As I said in the intro, it's still pretty cold here in spring, so warmer pieces are essential. Knitwear is going to be a big part of my rotation for the next few months, and it's kind of the last time I'm going to be able to wear it until fall winter, so I'm making the most of it. The first piece is going to be this J.W. Anderson and Uniqlo collaboration jumper from 2023. I get a ton of questions about this. I wore it in Harry's video last week and I could see a lot of people wanting to know where it's from. So it's actually a women's piece, which doesn't bother me at all. I often buy women's pieces because I feel they fit my body type better. It has a shorter length with a boxy shape and relaxed sleeves. It's in this two-tone beige which is really eye-catching, and it's made of their souffle yarn which is super soft and fluffy, a great piece for winter but also light enough for spring. Unfortunately it's sold out, but hopefully Uniqlo make more pieces using this silhouette because it's absolutely ideal. The other piece of knitwear I'll be wearing a lot this spring is a cardigan. I have a few favourites in my rotation, but today I'm showing off my old Uniqlo lambswool cardigan. This is from the U collection, and if I'm not mistaken, it's from 2022. Cardigans are just so ideal in inconsistent weather, keeping you warm but not stuffed up as they can be undone at the front. This is 100% lambswool and is pretty heavyweight to be honest. It's got a lovely rib knit design and a regular length to it for those who don't like a cropped piece. Unfortunately, being an older piece, it's not in stock anymore, but Uniqlo do plenty of other cardigans which are worth taking a look at. And actually I think Bare Knuckles have just come out with a very similar looking piece if you want this particular design. Next up is another piece that I get daily questions about, but I haven't shown off too much on this channel, and it's the Mersby half zip. I'm not sure why I haven't done many fit pics with this yet because it's probably one of my most worn pieces. It's just a lovely casual piece to throw on in the morning or whenever I'm going out somewhere. Mersby Schwanen are of course the company who makes the t-shirts from the bear, And if you've seen my video on that, then you'll know how highly I rate them. This half zip is made in the same factory in Germany from that loop wheel cotton. Only 2 factories in the world are making loop wheel pieces properly, so it's quite special. It's a 12-ounce cotton, pretty thick and heavyweight. I went for a medium in this because I imagine after washing it might shrink a little bit like other loop wheel pieces. It has a really chunky hem and cuffs with a collared design, pocket on the chest and a heavyweight brass zip. I just love to wear this underneath a jacket or as a standalone piece, and it gives off a casual but mature look. Another zip up piece next, and actually my first pickup of 2024, which is pretty crazy to say in March. It's this heavyweight zip up hoodie from Weekday, and I'm actually wearing it right now. Now Weekday do a couple of versions of this, but of course I went for the women's, and I'm glad I did because it's pretty oversized, so I can imagine the men's would be too big for me. I went for a size small, and I'd say it fits just about perfectly for the look I was going for. Very relaxed across the chest and arms, but with a shorter length cut so it sits just at the belt line. The colour is lush, it's a faded grey and has that vintage look to it. It's got a double zipper as well, which is a nice touch. It gives you some different styling options. As I said, there seems to be a few versions of this. I think there's a midweight women's version, and then there's the men's versions as well. There's loads of different colours which I'm tempted to pick up, but I'm just going to stick with this one for now. Lastly, a couple of jackets and coats that I think are going to be perfect for spring. The first is of course something you could have all have guessed, a denim jacket. I've become ridiculously fussy with denim jackets over the past few years, and I really prefer the older designs before they added hand warmer pockets. And that's why I've gone with this Lee Ryder 101J jacket. Not only do I prefer the look without hand warmer pockets, but also it usually means that the jacket is going to be shorter in length, which I also prefer. You can of course still get jackets with hand warmer pockets that are short length as well, but as I said, I actually prefer the look without them. I've done a whole video on this jacket if you want more details, but long story short, it's just a mid-weight piece made of salvaged denim, which I was lucky enough to get off a stockist. They told me it was a sample, so it's missing a few details like the waist buttons at the back, but I got it for such a bargain price, I'm not even bothered. Overall, a denim jacket is the spring piece, and if you haven't got one yet, I think it's worth picking one up. Another jacket that's pretty much made for spring weather is going to be the bomber jacket. The one I currently have isn't strictly a bomber jacket, but it's very similar. It's the warm padded blouson from the Uniqlo C range. It has that bomber jacket fit and look, and I style it in the same way I would a proper bomber jacket. It's quite lightweight but very warm thanks to that padding, and just a very easy piece to throw on most days in spring, as it goes with everything. As a side note, I'm still looking for that perfect military style bomber jacket. I've tried a few, but none have quite hit the mark for me, so if you have any suggestions, please do let me know. The final piece is going to be a lightweight coat, and I've gone with this vintage one from St. Michael. Those in the UK might recognise St. Michael. It used to be a range that Marks & Spencer put out. They're wildly high quality pieces, mostly made in the UK and usually from premium materials, and this one's no different. I'm not sure how costly they were back in the day, but you can find a lot of vintage St. Michael pieces on eBay for a song these days, so it's worth having a look. This is a beautiful hunting green corduroy coat with a soft check lining and leather collar. And a small detail, but it has this chain type YKK zipper which I've never seen, and you can just feel the difference in quality compared to a lot of modern zips. It has that sort of barber coat style to it, which is timeless in my opinion. I love those high pockets, which is a really natural position to rest your hands, and this piece is just perfect for a casual walk in the sunny but cold weather. So there's a bunch of pieces that I think are absolutely essential for spring. Obviously you don't need all of them, but if you're struggling to think of what to wear this season, then I think getting one or two of these pieces is really going to help you. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.